sure everyone knows by now, but the most momentous thing that has happened for us is the loss of a man whose worth is inestimable and ultimately whose person is irreplaceable. I've been friends with Tom for many, many years. He actually helped me select the music for my first Mass, and we've been friends ever since.
My name is Tom Savoy, and I am Magister Capellae, which is a fancy term for director of music at the St. Joseph's College Seminary here.
Tom was different from the very beginning. Back then, church musicians, they just kind of did what was asked of them. But Tom, he had something of a vision that had been formed by the tradition of sacred music in the life of the church.
He was a man who transformed the music in this place from recto tono, which means singing everything like this, to polyphonic music.
So one time, back in 2012, I was assigned to the parish of St. Thomas Aquinas, and the musician who was there had taken another job. So I called up Tom and I said, hey, look, I'm landing in this assignment. And he said, well, what are you looking for? And I said, well, I'm looking for you. Just someone like, help me find another Tom Savoy. And he said, well, what about me?
Music's not just something you add on to the Mass. It's something that is an integral part of it, and it's woven into it.
He was a master at bringing anyone who came to him into a musical world. In some ways, he was the treasure chest of a world that had gone by, and a world that had been lost that he very much lamented and spent his whole life attempting to be a bridge to a generation and generations that have been lost, both in chant and sacred music.
He developed a bit of a repertoire with respect to the sacred music in the life of the church, and a real entry into treasure troves, which so many of us had no knowledge of.
He fueled our young men with such a desire to not just to know, but to be able to use and sing the sacred treasury of the church's music. And they have such a fervor for it now. And that is alive in them.
Tom had really been a laborer in the vineyard of the church for so long in the arena of sacred music. He had formed so many people, he'd done so much good work, that it was right that he start forming the clergy, that it was the right thing that he would be able to help these men understand appropriately the importance of sacred music, the history of sacred music, the content, the dynamics of sacred music.
They're not just dedicated, they're just enthusiastic about musical challenges. They're enthusiastic about giving the best for God. It's just a joy to see them latch on to some of this stuff, because you don't give them junk. They understand that what they're singing is real. On a personal level, they need to know that there's not a day that goes by that I don't thank God for the opportunity to teach here, to teach these young men. It is a singular pleasure for me. It is a surprise from God that I'm able to be here. So I consider it an honor. Congregations have their own sound, you know. They're a little rough around the edges, and the notes get too high, the guys sing it down the octave, you know, that kind of stuff. But they can sing that stuff. I've taught congregations to sing this, you know. It's the best place for a tone-deaf person. Just hide right away there, and when in doubt, just sing Kyrie.
It is true that grief is the price we pay for love. When people we love pass, that's what we experience. You rise above the pain, that loss, that grief for a moment, and you think of his character, you can't help but to laugh or smile or to be inspired.
The real hope, to draw a little circle with these guys, is that when they come out of here and they go through their other seminary training, that they get a parish and they understand what they want in a musician, what the musician should be providing for them, and build a Catholic culture that's not disposable. You know, that the music is eternal.